Hello and good day. Welcome to another episode of Faith Walk with Ology. Today we're going to be discussing a part two, sort of like second part of one of our previous episodes, which was titled "How to Hear from God." So this will be titled "How to Hear from God 2." Now, what's the second part about? So in the first part, I had spoken about how God deals with us in different ways. And again, when I say deal, I don't mean like punishment. I mean like the way he, um, well, I need to find a better word for deal. Um, the way he relates, yeah, with us, yes, um, is different. It starts at, and the examples I had used in part one was about Moses and how God was speaking to Moses on a daily from day one when God decided to pick Moses, or when God said, okay, it was time for Israel to start their deliverance journey, God spoke to Moses from day one. From day one. You get Moses heard God's voice. But for Joshua, it wasn't so at the beginning, that when he was chosen. God said, which is the part two, and to show that things can grow as your maturity grows, as your responsibilities grow. Um, so when Joshua first started his role as leadership of or as a leader of or interim leader of the Israelites, Moses was about to leave the Israelites, let's go be with the Lord literally, because we were about to cross into Canaan over into Canaan, yeah, over the river Jordan. And Moses was concerned about who would lead the Israelites in his absence, and God said, you know what, pick Joshua, anoint him before the Israelites. He will go before the priest and get the word from me for the Israelites. So what God said at that time was that I will not be speaking to Joshua face to face or directly the way I spoke to you, Moses. But at this time, if he needs if he wants to confirm something, he will go to the priest, and the priest will get that confirmation, and then he can come and tell the Israelites. And so that was how Joshua's personal relationship with God started. But or and as his relationship with God progressed and as his leadership over the Israelites progressed, we begin to see that God began to speak to Joshua directly, because I believe that my submission is he had gotten to a point where he could receive directly and interpret directly and pass it on to the people that he was leading. So we see in Joshua 1, Joshua chapter 1, yes, after the death of the Lord's servant Moses. And I think also it was because I know how they say too many cooks spoil the broth. That you can have two, how is it often said? You can have two. Uh, what am I leading to? It's not particularly wise to have two people at the helm of affairs doing the exact same thing. There will be most likely clashes. One has to be a leader. So I also believe that another reason why God gave Joshua that means of communication was because Moses was still around. And Moses, being still alive, was still the direct line, official direct line of um of the Israelites to God. But that maybe in a case where, because in that ordination, Joshua was anointed as his successor and was given responsibilities. That's what God instructed Moses to do, give Joshua responsibilities, and then he start carrying them out even while you're still here. So at that time, it wasn't particularly necessary to for God to speak to Joshua directly. That's what I have surmised. Now, when related to you and I, although it's a different dispensation now, we have Jesus Christ, we have that personal relationship with God. As we start our spiritual maturity journey, as when you become a Christian, like when you give your life to Christ for the I was it for the first time. I gave my life to Christ like I think 10 times, because I always felt like whenever I did something bad, the salvation was nullified and I had to go and do it again. So, but obviously, I learned that that wasn't correct. So when you give your life to Christ, um, At the beginning, yes, the way you will hear from God most likely will be maybe you're reading the word and something just drops in your heart like you do this, you know. And as you continue to spend more time in the word, spend more time in fellowship, you will find, as I have found, as others have found, that the way God speaks to you will graduate. Yes, yeah, graduate is the word. It will change. It will go to higher levels. So you can't be a growing Christian and your relationship with God, your conversations with God do not progress to a more intimate level. I don't think so. I don't think so. So we see here after the death, I'm reading from the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 1. After the death of the Lord's servant Moses, the Lord spoke to Moses' helper, Joshua, son of Nun. So God waited until Moses had, come to be with him, basically, and said, okay, no confusion anymore. Now Joshua is the set man, Joshua is the leader, Joshua is the point person for the Israelites in terms of communication from me to them. So now I will be speaking to Joshua directly. So what this meant was Joshua did not have to, as much, go to Eleazar the priest to get instructions because God was speaking to him directly. And so he said, my servant Moses is dead, get ready now. And this was like an instruction, basically the way God was, discussing with Moses. Um, get ready now, you and all the people of Israel, and cross the Jordan River into the land that I am giving them. As I told Moses, I have given you and all the people the entire land will be marching over there. And in that chapter 1, he goes ahead to tell him, because God knows it's a mighty thing to for him to speak. And so when some of us are in a hurry to, and I think I spoke to this in the part one of this, when some of us are in a hurry to have all the um out of body, experiences and sensations and all the, you know, those feelings, and God is like, my daughter, my son, my child, are you ready for this? If I come and meet you the way you want me to meet you, can you take it? You most likely cannot. So we see that I believe also because it was a task that Joshua was being given was mighty. I mean, the one Moses had was heavy, but Joshua's own was also heavier, and he was starting after you know taking over from Moses. And Moses was an established man of God, priest, prophet. Um, they were really big shoes to fill, really big shoes to fill. And then Joshua was now also hearing from God. And I want to paint a scenario for you. When God started, when the Israelites came out of Egypt and God started, dropping, not dropping bars, but dropping the rules and the instructions. There was a time that God said He wanted to, speak with the Israelites directly. And so they cleaned up, they washed up, they abstained from sin, and they just, holy things. And when God just spoke one, or His presence descended, and the Israelites were like, no, 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 we can't take it, we can't take it. I beg, it's too much, oh, it's too much. Sorry, I mentioned Nigerian pigeon. It's too much. Like it was scary for them. Yeah. Now Joshua was in the midst of all this, and he says Joshua was Moses' helper, so he was right beside him when all of this was happening. And there were other instances Joshua would follow Moses up the mountain. He wouldn't go up with Moses, he would have to wait somewhere. And so Joshua was in the thick of all this, seeing the mysteriousness and the supernatural. He had been around it, so he knew it was something not to take lightly. So to have this kind of access, the same access that my Oga Moses, my boss, my leader had, combined with the job of the task of leading the Israelites into Canaan. And God had to tell them, Joshua 1 verse 8, verse 9 actually. Remember, I have commanded you to be determined, confident, do not be afraid or discouraged, for I, the Lord your God, am with you wherever you go. Wherever you go. Now, this verse often is used to encourage us to be strong in the Lord the power of His mind to face the things that God has asked us to do. But I'm going to stay with the last um, line as we end this particular episode. He said, "For I, the Lord your God, am with you wherever you go." I want to rephrase to whatever stage in life, or whatever stage you are, whatever phase you are in your Christian journey, the Lord God is with you. Do not compare yourself with another person. You and God know what you're doing, right? It's a personal race, it's a personal journey. You and God. And He's with you wherever, whenever. He's with you. He will meet you where you are. He will meet you as you grow. He will continue to be with you. So do not be pressured, yes, by other people's experiences and say, "Oh, when will my own be like this? When will I have this kind of relationship?" God is with you wherever you are. You just gave your life to Christ yesterday. He's with you. It's been 5 years, he's with you. It's 20 years, he's with you. Perhaps it's 100 years, if you're so blessed as to still be with us 100 years after you give your life to Christ. He is still with you and he's dealing with us at the phases that we are in, at the levels that we are in, dealing with you in the way that is best for you at that time and at that season. Yes? All right, guys, have stay blessed. I want to say have a great week, have a great year. I don't know what time of the week or the year you'll be listening to this. So stay blessed. Stay blessed. I love you, but God loves you more. Bye.